Today is the date, December 26, year 2022 in the Gregorian calendar. December 26, this year marks 8 years and 4 months since the disappearance on September the 26th in 2014 of the 43 students from the Ayotzinapa, the school, the 43 students from Ayotzinapa school who were violently disappeared by agencies of the Mexican government, from the federal to the military structure, national, to the local police and municipal authorities on September the 26th, 2014. And just today, on December 26, 2022, within a few hours, we had just received the report again how the parents who are marching today in Mexico City. We are here today in Phoenix, Arizona, in front of the offices of the Mexican consulate, which today being the day after Christmas, the offices are pretty much closed. There's no activity. It's pretty much abandoned. It's forgotten. But what is not forgotten today is 8 years and 4 months since the disappearance of 43 students. Their parents have not forgotten them. The Comision Permanente TONATIERRA, we have not forgotten that those 43 students, when they were abducted in the town of Iguala on September the 26th, 2014, they were on a bus, they were on a set of buses, 2 of which were violently attacked, and at least one of those buses was loaded with heroin, a load of heroin that had been put on that vehicle, which was being transported and facilitated by the bus line for its eventual destination to the cities in the United States of America known as Chicago, Illinois, and Atlanta, which is to say that the drug route from Chiapas, Guerrero, Mexico to Chicago wasn't a happenstance and all of a sudden it happened. It was well planned, designed, financed, and also surveilled. There was a surveillance on it. We know from the reports that have come out since then, up to now, corroborated, documented, with hard evidence and testimony that the Mexican military had that bus surveilled since before the students were taken from there. They were part of the taking. They were part of the forced disappearance, which also foretells you, it tells you, since under Plan Merida, which is a plan that the U.S. government provides military support, financing, assistance, and intelligence to the Mexican military ever since Plan Merida was implemented by the U.S. government to the Mexican government. You know that if the Mexican military apparatus had surveillance and intelligence on that operation sending drugs to Chicago, you know for a fact that the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration of the U.S. government, was also part of that network of intelligence. And so, a year ago, when Vice President Kamala Harris put in the hands of President Manuel Lopez Obrador of Mexico a file of the intelligence information, the intelligence file that the U.S. government had compiled on the disappearance of the 43. He gave it to AMLO a year ago, and yet, keep saying that for 8 years and 4 months, yet that information has yet to be brought to light in Mexico. That information has yet to be brought to light by the people who paid for the construction of that plan, meaning the U.S. tax dollars. Why is this relevant again today? Because shortly, on January the 1st, another anniversary. Just as it is an anniversary today of the 43 students. The 43 students, when they were on that bus, where were they going? They were going back to school. They were going from their school in Guerrero to Mexico City to participate in the protest of the massacre of the 43 students in Tlatelolco, just before the Olympics in Mexico City in 1968. What do you see? What do you see? This is the remnants of the armaments that were used against our Maya people in Chiapas, not Guerrero and Chiapas, on January the 1st, 1994. Why is it relevant today now? Because you know, under the war on drugs, it's been the U.S. government that's been financing, providing intelligence, direction, and even command to the military operations in Mexico that are branded as a war on drugs, but it had nothing to do with a war on drugs. It's a war to establish a monopoly over the drug trade so that the drugs from Guerrero, Iguala can get on that bus and head to Chicago. And I will not be convinced that the DEA was not aware of that mechanism of transport and illicit drug traffic. Even less so since I know that just last year, the top general of Mexico at the time, in 2014, Cienfuegos, was arrested when he went to LA and busted on drug charges. Subsequently, he was released, and now he's in Mexico City, enjoying his final time, while the parents still suffer from the missing students of 8 years and 4 months ago. This weaponry, flares, bomb fragments, the fins of the bombs, the shell casings that were used against the Zapatistas. January the 1st, 1994, we received the call of our organization, the Tonatierra, here in Phoenix, to come down to Chiapas and be part of that intervention to bring an end to the bloodshed and to bring accountability to the issues of the indigenous peoples in Mexico that were the theme of that struggle. That continue to be the theme of the struggle of the Mayas in Chiapas, the Mayas in Guatemala, in Belize, in Honduras, because if you went to Chiapas and continued south, you would end up in Guatemala. But if you went to Guatemala and headed north into Mexico, you would still be in Maya country, because that border has nothing to do with the Maya territory's designation from their own origination. You must remember. We do remember. The students of Ayotzinapa, the turtle is their symbol. They say that in the lifespan of the turtle of this planet, that within their accounting and recounting, they possess the oldest memories of life on the planet. Millions of years. Millions of years. They have a history of knowledge of the earth and of life on earth that supersedes all other life forms. And their ability to transmit that knowledge is one of the reasons why they were identified as a symbol of the Ayotzinapa Ayot is turtle. Ayotzin, little turtle. Ayotzinapa, in the valley of the little turtles. And as you all know, we are also, all of us, in that sense, little turtles of Mother Earth. Are we not? Do we not also, in the four directions of the seasons of the sun and Mother Earth, partake in the blessings of life? Are we not also responsible for the well-being of life on this Mother Earth, the turtle island, the hard shell, the soft heart, and the orientation of the four directions and the universe? So today on December 26, 2014, we recall and reiterate and demand once again accountability for the government of Mexico, just as was done a few hours ago in Mexico City, to bring justice and accountability and punishment to all those involved in the crime of the forced disappearance of the 43 Ayotzinapa students in Mexico. We demand the same thing of the United States government. And we also demand the same thing of the Canadian government. And we also demand the same thing of the government in Israel, because the man, Tomas Cerón, who's now in exile in Israel and being given asylum in Israel, before he went to Israel, he left Mexico and somehow was able to finagle to get a diplomacy passport approval to get into Canada, to go from Canada to Israel. And don't tell me that you think that that happened without the U.S. government knowing, because Tomas Cerón had an arrest warrant out for him in Mexico. He had an arrest warrant out for him. Then he traveled all the way to Canada, from Canada, and now he's in Israel. So when the parents raised the voice today on December 26, 2022, for what happened in 2014, we raised that voice again here. The Comision Permanente Ayotzinapa TONATIERRA. Porque vivos los llevaron y vivos los queremos ver.